Naofumi Iwatani blinks awake, finding himself disoriented and in an unfamiliar environment. He groggily registers someone shouting his name, and he realizes that Rishia is with him, looking worried and confused. They're in a small, bare room and have no memory of how they got there. Naofumi feels like he's in a prison. Trying to piece things together, Naofumi recalls his identity. He's a university student from Japan who found himself pulled into a different world as the Shield Hero, one of the 4 cardinal heroes summoned to battle waves of catastrophic events. Unlike the other heroes, he initially faced betrayal and prejudice but eventually proved himself through battles and trials. His past struggles with the other heroes come to mind. While they stayed focused on their game-like adventures, Naofumi realized there was more to their tasks than they seemed to understand. He remembers the intense battle against the spirit tortoise and the mysterious appearance of Ost, the woman who asked for his help. Naofumi recalls their eventual victory over the destructive force threatening the world along with Glass and her companions from a different dimension, the very group who once opposed him. Reflecting on their successful joint effort to defeat Kyo, the mastermind behind the chaos, Naofumi mourns the unintended consequence. The energy meant to revive heroes following the destruction of the spirit tortoise was wasted. Now, as he examines his own shield, he is stunned to find himself back at level 1, with all his previous progress seemingly erased. Rishia, too, seems alarmed and confused as they decipher their statuses, both of them reduced to weaker, unfamiliar forms. As they discuss their predicament, Naofumi's thoughts drift to Raphtalia. He recalls purchasing her from a slave trader amidst suspicion and persecution, eventually forming a strong bond as she became a trusted comrade and skilled fighter. Similarly, Philo, a Philolial queen with extraordinary power, had been an invaluable ally as they fought to protect their world from chaos. Naofumi's rumination is interrupted by the realization that the jail door is unlocked. He and Rishia hastily decide to escape. Outside, they encounter an eerily quiet labyrinthine environment, filled with surreal images and odd, mesmerizing portals that they cautiously decide to enter. Stepping through the glowing doorway, they find themselves on a serene beach under a clear, blue sky with a grassy meadow stretching beyond. Strangely, the doorway vanishes behind them, indicating the beach exists somewhere other than their familiar world. Their predicament continues to baffle Naofumi, but he resolves to stay vigilant. Naofumi and Rishia proceed through the new environment, trying to make sense of their surroundings while battling weak monsters that hint at unlocking more of their shield's abilities. As they adapt to their new presumably diminished powers, they manage to sustain themselves, finding ways to replenish their energies through resourceful alchemical crafting. Eventually, their wanderings lead them to a riverbank. While refreshing themselves with water, they unexpectedly run into a kappa, a monster resembling a creature out of Japanese folklore. Ready to fight, Naofumi uses his abilities to protect Rishia and fend off the hostile being. Though armed with a familiar tactic, the skirmish reveals a vulnerability in Naofumi's techniques, masked by his sudden power reset. A subsequent attack by a second kappa leaves him exposed and injured, raising the stakes of their precarious situation. Will they manage to escape and find their allies? As Naofumi and Rishia gather their scattered wits, the uncertainty of their condition looms, yet they know they must adapt and survive together in this mystifying new space. Naofumi Iwatani finds himself in an intense battle against a kappa monster, its claws digging fiercely into his back. Rishia Ivired frantically struggles to land a strike, her voice filled with desperation as she cries out, "I can't get the sword through." The relentless attack has caught them off guard, transforming an ordinary encounter into a dire situation. Just when it seems they're out of options, an unexpected voice rings through the chaos, "Blood flower strike." A flash of light slices through the air, and the kappa, poised to strike, is hurled back, lifeless. Naofumi blinks in disbelief, unsure if he's just witnessed a miraculous armament or a unique skill. A girl stands revealed, calm and poised, her appearance strikingly unusual. She explains, "I've been watching out for you since you fell out of the sky." Her demeanor blends the innocence of youth with the confidence of a seasoned warrior. Her grace and authority create an air of intrigue around her. Naofumi, wary yet grateful, inquires about her identity. The girl introduces herself as Kizuna Kazuyama, one of the hierarchy heroes, the hunting hero, to be exact. While her role is a new concept to Naofumi, her presence seems steady and reassuring. Conversations between Naofumi and Kizuna reveal their differences and parallels. They both share the burdens of being heroes, yet Kizuna comes from a different world, suggesting a twist of fate that brings them together. Kizuna expresses curiosity about portal mechanics, explaining that heroes like Naofumi usually can't be imprisoned or transported between their worlds. They both share similar grievances against inescapable spaces they've experienced. As Naofumi reflects on being summoned from Japan, he realizes he isn't alone in his struggles. Shadowing their conversation is the complex weaving of multiple worlds existing simultaneous paths yet separate destinies. Despite having slain the Kappa, they receive no experience points, further illuminating the mysterious phenomenon affecting this parallel world. Kizuna and Naofumi agree to team up, the prospect of camaraderie amid adversity bringing them a semblance of solace in their chaotic existence. As they traverse this unpredictable land, Kizuna describes how monstrously deceiving this world can be. Despite its tranquil appearance, she emphasizes the layered challenges they must navigate, a maze cleverly disguised as a serene forest, trapping unwary souls within. Their cautious expedition leads them to strategic retreats at safe houses, where they find moments of reprieve. However, Naofumi notes the apparent weariness in their armor and attire. Rishia's Kigurumi looks especially battered after their battles. They agree that it's time for stories. Naofumi recounts his beginnings as a hero, the accusation that framed him, and the adventures while traveling to the current realm. As Naofumi shares, Kizuna learns about his complicated tangles with adversaries like Kyo Ethnina and allies like Rishia and Raphtalia. Naofumi recalls his parting with Raphtalia when the current in the labyrinth separated them. Raphtalia. His voice cracks under the weight of loss and helplessness. Upon regaining consciousness, he found himself marooned in this labyrinthine prison. Kizuna reciprocates with her own story. Her journey started with her sisters and life in a simulated environment within a game world that stretched reality. They shared the disbelief of being cast into entirely new worlds against their expectations, making their previous struggles seem simple in comparison. In her world, Kizuna faced the monstrous rule of the Dragon Emperor, unraveling yet another layer of complexity and hardship. Her recounting parallels Naofumi's difficult path, yet her resolve mirrors his tenacity. As Kizuna wraps up her story, Naofumi senses a kindred spirit, despite the absurdities surrounding them. Even as they lament their current state, their shared experiences bring comfort, newly found friendship a beacon of hope in an otherwise grim labyrinth. Hope ekes through their stories, sewing their tattered experiences into a bond knit by resilience and the yearning to break free from imprisonment. Despite heavy trials, they pledge silently to the unending fight ahead, trusting the delicate thread of alliance they've begun to weave. As Kizuna and Rishia gather by the ocean, Rishia's hunger becomes apparent. Kizuna suggests trying some monster meat, given their limited resources. Rishia enthusiastically agrees, "Yeah, I might have just the thing. Want to go get some?" With their equipment lacking any decent gear aside from what's required in monster battles, their options feel restricted. Yet, Kizuna remains hopeful, mentioning their various weapon forms, a sword, a bow, and even fans. She works to upgrade Rishia's arsenal as much as possible. Rishia grabs a sword, and Kizuna explains the power that comes with transformations, an ability unique to her role as hunting hero. Despite Rishia's low level, she manages to fight decently, though she's mostly suited to a supportive role. They find themselves in a predicament when Rishia attempts to attack Kizuna to test her skills. Even powering her strike up with impressive force only scratches the surface. Noticing this, Kizuna reassures her, showcasing that whatever forthcoming adversities they're up against would be negligible at this point. "See? This is nothing to worry about. I couldn't hurt you if I even wanted to," Kizuna assures her. Amidst banter and planning, Kizuna hears rustling in nearby bushes. A group of spindly rats burst forth. These are particularly strong for basic predators, showcasing just how unaccustomed they are to the area's unfamiliar threats. Battles ensue with rats that mean business, emphasizing their desperate need to level up faster for self-defense. The intense conflict underscores their current weakness, but they're also presented with some resources, like banana-like fruits, to sustain them. Through lingual appraisal, Kizuna identifies them safe, and they gather several for their survival. Both agree that every small gathering could help immensely, including any medicinal herbs they come across. As a few days of battle and search stretch on, Rishia progresses to level 20 steadily. However, Kizuna is impeded by the hero interference, preventing her from leveling as quickly. This revelation makes it clear that reliance on levels isn't as crucial for Kizuna as wielding her specialized weapon skillfully. Patience becomes the key as they soldier on, finding comfort in the little victories during their explorations. The focus soon shifts to subsistence, hunting, and future planning. Their discussions in downtime gravitate toward potential escape or innovation. It sparks a proactive mindset about how their growing understanding and energy spent daily might eventually forge a path out of this perdition. Kizuna and Naofumi strategize over how to leap the spatial barriers confining them in a certain imprisoning dimension. In an intriguing twist, they negotiate past the irritation of not being able to cut through barriers using their strengths alone. Naofumi feels trapped by using his singular offensive capabilities but trusts his comrades' assets. It's encouraging teamwork that might just lead to finding the way out. It's time for more careful planning and researching their existing bounty in the battle arsenal. Sorting through these items uncovers potential tactical methods. One accidental discovery in Naofumi's stock turns out to be crucial, making him ready to embark on a test run. Kizuna's aptitude shines as she reveals intriguing objects hidden within the surrounding wall structures, manufactured barriers. Her understanding of practicality becomes clear when she confidently showcases a device enabling brief glimpses beyond confining walls, insinuating the labyrinth has precise weak points. Despite these snippets of progress, securing genuine escape seems elusive as reality dawns that the main barriers speak a different truth, perhaps distinct worlds await beyond them. Subaru envisions they could use specific species specialties in explored monsters against these tangibly enclosing screens. Yet a distinct outline suggests something more organized might anchor them contractual within that method too. In triumphant optimism, varying subspecies cast blinding beams of light overhead as her words completely connect, revealing the mutual understanding that being trapped artificially somehow reverberates inexplicably in shared linked pathways. The bustling fragments of elusive alternative dimension callouts needle into their mental expectations of typical isometries lost in transit, escalating their once forlorn predictions to mildly tangible retreat hopes. Techniques fine-tuned for scouting small densities offer relief backed by sharper cross-referencing daylight wonders within protective stronghold recoveries. Treasure glimmers ignite fiercely but are nuanced practically. This sustains motivation by filtering enchantments precariously bordering behind anchored unseen mechanisms, steadfastly spotting revelation-laced convection intervals, guiding them further still in unearthing hints regarding an earnings storage modifier gone tautological, pulling like adaptive gravitational amulets weaving knowledge intently beyond seemingly unconquerable chaos entrapment boundaries spanning items inventoried in fortuity. Naofumi and his companions face a towering wall. Kizuna climbs over effortlessly with her fishing rod, urging Naofumi and Rishia to follow. Naofumi uses his rope shield to scale the wall. They're in a labyrinth and must leave quickly before anyone checks their escape route. Once free, Naofumi ponders their next steps. Kizuna has no intention of splitting up, and Naofumi suggests staying together, especially since Kizuna is friends with Glass. There's tension with Glass, as Naofumi is wanted in her country. The group debates how to get to a safer location, constrained by teleportation's limitations based on locations Naofumi has visited. Kizuna's skills and Naofumi's portal shield can't fully solve their traveling issues. They explore options like getting close to a border crossing or using a wave to teleport back to more familiar territory. However, crossing borders seems daunting due to checkpoints and restrictions. The juxtaposition of Naofumi's world and Kizuna's new realm offers intriguing insights. Inexperienced with such tight borders, Naofumi considers the challenge of moving freely, reminiscent of navigating different online game worlds in past experiences. Exploring a nearby town, reminiscent of Kyoto from another era, Naofumi notices its inhabitants, elves with traditional attire and spirits similar to Glass. These spirits don't have levels, their power grows from energy. Naofumi is captivated by the unique mechanics of this world, especially how energy somewhat acts like experience points. Glass's strength is attributed to her energy, fueling her durability. At the Adventurers Guild, Naofumi discovers drop items can be replicated in this world. This idea could be lucrative, letting Naofumi and his companions strengthen their arsenals and potentially assist in coordinating escape plans or leveling up efficiently. Rishia, ever faithful, is ready to help, while Kizuna suggests selling items could provide them cover until they transit to somewhere secure. Despite tensions and unknowns, they plan to gain experience. Kizuna, familiar with their strange world, shares that spirit blessings provide power, a hint Naofumi looks to understand. In summary, Naofumi's party navigates not just foreign geography but foreign social and magical expectations. The potential for powerful alliances or conflicts blossoms in every interaction, as Naofumi looks forward to powering up his allies and arsenal in the face of looming challenges. Under the vibrant atmosphere of a bustling fair, Naofumi and his companions are eager to share their latest venture, a miraculous soul-healing water. As they distribute samples to eager spirits lining up, Naofumi takes the opportunity to mix the concoction himself, raising the crowd's excitement. One onlooker is particularly curious about the process. Naofumi uses his trusty shield, improvising a bit. It's not perfect, but it works. He reflects on whether he should have just left the mixing to experts but decides it's worth the effort. The successful sharing of the sample brings excitement, and Naofumi claps his hands to signal they've run out of their prepared stock, both apologizing and cleverly piquing the crowd's interest. An idea takes root. Naofumi announces plans for an auction of the remaining soul-healing water, rousing further interest. Despite hesitation from Rishia, who fears drawing too much attention, it's clear this is an opportunity too valuable to pass up. Kizuna is supportive, pointing out the potential benefits, reminding everyone of the novelty and demand for such rare items. As they prepare for the auction, they notice an unusual surge of monsters in the area. It's a timed phenomenon yielding more experience per monster, just what Naofumi's group needs for leveling up. They dive into battle, reaping benefits as they continue strategizing the next steps. Back to the event, Naofumi is latent with excitement. The team sets up their auction stall, ready to engage with the onlookers, and a surprising turnout reinforces the product's budding notoriety. Naofumi hands his precious bottles to Kizuna and Rishia to start the auction, deliberately keeping the crowd curious by sharing the backstory of its miraculous effects. Interest piqued, the auction quickly escalates, and the once hopeful audience turns feverish as bids soar high in value. Naofumi artfully manipulates this frenzy, drawing competitive offers with hints of scarcity until the auction culminates in substantial profit. Despite their success, not enough money is gathered for a travel voucher crucial to their journey. Undeterred, they resort to deception. Rishia pretends to slip, enhancing customer desperation by claiming limited stock. The result? A frenzy that further stokes profits beyond expectations. Naofumi observes elites bidding alongside merchants, their passion inflamed, handing over notably large sums. With the final sale concluded, they move swiftly to avoid potential retribution, aware of how valuable their auction goods had become. Reflecting privately, Kizuna questions the selling approach, pushing Naofumi to justify strategies that prioritize exploiting scarcity over mass sales. Together, they explore their market options, ensuring to use the revenue wisely on equipment upgrades desperately needed for the group. They aim for balance. Both gear and fun serve their greater quest in this challenging world they found themselves in. Exploring hardware shops, they encounter disappointments. Armors in particular aren't the same familiar quality. Kizuna's special Hari lights the conversation, a rare gift she cherishes, tied firmly to her roots and past adventures with glass, stirring poignant memories. Amid these trials, their commitment to survival and progress in an imposing realm blunt regrets over costly new equipment. Once more set for the road ahead, Naofumi contemplates travel voucher logistics when the plan takes a tactical shift with the purchase of Ofuda, charms useful for those unable to wield magic plainly. Rishia, hesitant but trusting, accepts these peculiar tools, preparing to incorporate them into her fighting style. Kizuna, determined and adaptive, proves her prowess, hiking their group's capacity to tackle this world's fantastical, if unpredictable, creatures. As they forge paths, Naofumi recognizes Kizuna's impressive potential as an ally. Her talents blend seamlessly in combat. The capital awaits, looming with barriers enforcing restricted entry, nullifying expectations of a casual transition for the party of adventurers. On high alert, they scrutinize new challenges, conscious of the political tensions, where their very presence stirs caution and attention from the ruling powers. Navigating this environment calls for self-improvement and careful strategy. They deliberate possible leveling opportunities, Kizuna reminding them the urgency of using political strategies to cut through diplomatic red tape safely. Naofumi feels layers of past experiences preparing him subtly for these very endeavors. Armed with their reliance on skill, resilience, and tactical companionship, the journey in this intersecting world hums ambitiously ahead. Naofumi feels a sense of urgency about using his newly acquired teleport shield. The ability could offer a means of escape while traversing the dangerous zone around the Dragon Hourglass. He recalls a previous instance when he couldn't teleport away and decides that mastering this ability would be crucial for their survival. Realizing the complexity of their situation, Naofumi ponders aloud whether staying still or making a move is the better choice, before involuntarily laughing at the sheer absurdity of a situation that demands such quick decision-making. Kizuna playfully eggs him on about their next move. "We're going to charge the guards," she asks with a teasing smile. Naofumi assures her that he isn't overthinking the dangers but rationalizes that whatever choice they make will likely carry its risks. The strategy involves a brazen attack which Kizuna surprisingly agrees to with a hint of excitement. With a plan set, Naofumi, Kizuna, and their companions prepare themselves, even aspiring to relish some downtime once their immediate troubles are over. But, as things stand, they prepare for a standoff, aided by the clever chaos they intend to introduce with their plan. Amidst the tense build-up, Naofumi gets entangled in a curious exchange with a genius looking like a caricature out of a manga. Though intent on their escape, Naofumi is drawn into the pompous arrogance of this genius representative standing confidently against them. Kizuna dashes forward in alignment with their plans, bantering with an assurance that seems almost casual. Determined to make their move, they charge through to create chaos, intending to threaten the order guarding the hourglass. Kizuna's vanguard charge serves as a catalyst, enveloping the crowd in tension and suspense. Shouting instructions, Naofumi is soon engrossed in deflecting attacks to shield the group, focusing rather fervently on launching his shooting star shield. This defensive barrier envelops the people around him, keeping the attackers at bay if only for a crucial few moments. Kizuna, meanwhile, skillfully breaches positions with remarkable agility, deftly leaping through strategic points to reach the hourglass. In this sprawling maze of confrontation, swords glitter dangerously, seeming to breach some shields. Yet, to Naofumi's relief, his shooting star shield acts resiliently against the invading forces, absorbing repeated hits while giving their group a momentary edge. In this frenzied shuffle of movements, Naofumi faces the genius, tipped into rage by his arrogant, unflinching resolve. This genius bellows commands with a zeal that hits Naofumi with an uncanny resemblance to Kyo. They went blow for blow, the battle echoing with unsuspected power and unleashed force. Amidst the punches and parries, Naofumi relished a strategic maneuver that temporarily incapacitated the genius, unleashing a potent attack with incredible precision that fell the antagonist to the ground. Yet, with burning fervor, the opponent recovers, allowing Kizuna to accelerate forward and grasp the hourglass safely within her sphere of influence. The finality of their bravado culminates as Naofumi and Kizuna ride the energies of the returned dragon vein, orchestrated by Kizuna, back to safety. It soon becomes clear that their position in this world holds inscrutable binding but calls for more than mere pride or the preservation of serenity. Safely out of harm's grasp, they are drawn into a new Western-looking domain reminiscent of Europe's mystique, soothingly segregated from the Prince of Haste they had endured. This new environment appears almost dreamlike but offers respite and solace, counteracting their turbulent escape. Graciously greeted by the local populace, they acknowledge Kizuna's triumphant return with admiration. Kizuna, esteemed and cherished, stands as a victorious exemplar worthy of tale and tradition. As accusation and fear retreat, a warm atmosphere envelops them all, especially as they delve into key matters, attended by a sense of relief that quickly shimmers into an insightful discussion about their world's plight. Kizuna queries matters that resonate beyond Naofumi's immediate realm of understanding, the looming waves, mythological phenomena promising disaster. But this shift instigated by disparate worlds hovers as a profound worry between them all. Grave realities underscore the strains drawing forlorn diplomatic chords between their resolve and solemn urging for vindication or submission posed by physical constraint. Conversations take the somber route, straying away from preservation to touch upon legend-binding ties that indistinctly oppress liberty against the change accompanying necessary dissolution. While Kizuna's heart aligns with safeguarding their sincerity amid conjecture, insights exchanged prognosticate a curiosity mixed with imagination pulled tight against destiny's strings. Trust, seen burgeoning anew, envelopes relationships dear and trials superior perfected into openness. And next formalisms dissolve, fragile trust wraps us in commitment, guaranteeing present patience grants them metaphysical courage bound in close proximity, but any clarity consign changing destiny shields friendships dearly. Actualized amidst subdued hope, promising vitality clears them knowing belonging fuels insight to relegate close quarters of lethal machinations deservedly unknown yet transformative. As time transpires, this new threshold moment spells a line of reflective truth beyond alignment, leaving their consortium alone with thoughts over potentialities anticipated currently gathering affirming aspirations quite infinite amongst confines vaguely lingering. In careful tension, vigilant even amidst relief, the team now regroups faith prioritizing unity above all, cherishing moments, sensing underpinning fate inside rash ignorance sealing a shared future endeavor bearing them resiliently onwards. Spending the night at Kizuna's house, Naofumi finds himself relaxing after the recent events. The setting around Kizuna's place reminds him of being back home. Kizuna, on the terrace, has a fishing rod in hand, casting her line into the ocean with a contented look. Engaging in some conversation, Naofumi notes Kizuna's deep love for fishing. As Kizuna reels in a catch, she shows him a herring she caught, proving her fishing prowess. "It's huge," she declares, clutching her catch with a sense of pride. Their brief respite leads them into a conversation about accessories. Naofumi wonders if he could create something himself to utilize the world's unique crafting possibilities. As they muse about creating a new lure, Naofumi decides to give it a try, even though crafting in this world could be tricky. The challenge doesn't deter him, and he's keen on confirming if accessories from this place would work back in his world. Later, Naofumi is taken to meet someone who's central to their current quest. The next afternoon, aided by a herring dish Kizuna insists needs tasting, Naofumi finds himself introduced to Ethnobalt. Not just any creature, Ethnobalt presents himself as a mysterious figure, floating into the room draped in dark robes with sleek silver hair. Ethnobalt explains his status and reveals that he can help Naofumi find Raphtalia. "I am the holder of the boat of the vassal weapons," he introduces himself, appearing serene yet powerful. With characteristics reminiscent of a mystical being, he transforms into a penguin form, greeting familiar faces with joyful cheek rubs. With introductions wrapped up, the conversation turns to Ethnobalt offering his assistance. Utilizing Shikigami, a kind of magical familiar, Naofumi might be able to track Raphtalia much more efficiently. The bond formed with these creatures is unique yet powerful. Naofumi, understanding little of this magic's intricacies, is intrigued. He gears up for a ceremony to create a Shikigami, using a lock of Raphtalia's hair. Enveloped in an enigmatic ritual, imbued beams of light swirl around them. The outcome is a sight, presenting Naofumi with a raccoon-like Shikigami, which resembles a much smaller version of Raphtalia. The Shikigami's arrival is met with mixed emotions. Amusement and perhaps a little amazement color the air. It's decided that this new companion will be affectionately referred to as Raph-chan. The name, while a little on the nose, ultimately feels right. Using the Shikigami's powers, Ethnobalt directs Naofumi to a location on a map, a potential lead about Raphtalia's whereabouts. The path lies towards enemy lands, stirring cautious thoughts among the group. Kizuna ponders the precarious political environment and emphasizes the need for careful navigation to avoid unnecessary trouble. Unresolved matters and the imminence of challenges ahead sit heavily with them. The quest for Raphtalia is far from over, but with the help of the newly acquired Shikigami, they have renewed hope in their search. For now, they must prepare to face the uncertain yet promising journey that lies ahead. Glass and the others don't face the same limitations as Kizuna's group, which suggests they might have had an easier time with their mission. However, Ethnobolt presents a plan to utilize the hourglass teleportation capability to reach Kyo directly. Kizuna is keenly aware of the stakes, knowing that if they're captured by Kyo before reuniting with Glass, things will go from bad to worse. Kizuna shows concern about the number of people she can count on for support, reflecting on the importance of entrusting this strategic advantage to Ethnobolt. He agrees to help, offering his vessel for the teleportation. The group climbs onto Ethnobolt's boat, expressing awe at its technology, which operates differently from their own abilities, such as the teleport shield. As they soar through the sky using the boat, Kizuna relates to the innovative way it moves, likening it to teleportation rather than conventional flying. They deliberate the best route to take, ultimately deciding to fly high to avoid enemy attention as they travel to where Glass might be waiting. Their journey brings them to a country reminiscent of old Japan under the Tokugawa shogunate. Its modern elements mixed with traditional hints create an eerie atmosphere. As they navigate the town, they encounter signs of entertainment that draw crowds, particularly centered around a mysterious show, something unusual that makes Kizuna and her party curious. While investigating, they'd planned to scope things out without alerting anyone to their presence as foreigners. An impromptu decision leads them to encounter Raf-chan, who is clueless about Glass's whereabouts. Suddenly, they hear familiar shouts nearby. It's Philo, captive and seemingly part of the ongoing show. Realizing Philo's predicament, Kizuna and Naofumi ponder over a plan that avoids dealing directly with the nobility so prevalent in this region. The problem boils down to rescuing Philo effectively without raising red flags that could disrupt their mission or put Philo in more danger. Their approach shifts to a stealth missions as they decide to wait until nightfall to execute their plans. As twilight fades into night, Kizuna, Naofumi, and the group prepare their move on the building holding Philo. Utilizing Kizuna's invaluable skills as the hunting hero, the group stays hidden and approaches stealthily, dealing with barriers and locks in their path. Naofumi demonstrates his adeptness at magic, cleverly bypassing locks without triggering any alarms. They find themselves in an old warehouse designed to hold various exotic creatures. The oppressive atmosphere emphasizes their need to be quick yet cautious, knowing they could be seconds from either triumph or disaster. Once inside, the group encounters Philo, albeit transformed into a small songbird, courtesy of a magical artifact called Ofuda. Questions flood Naofumi's mind. Why the transformation? How could they best release her while avoiding the powerful spell's side effects? Upon freeing Philo from her enchanted binds, Naofumi and Kizuna face the daunting figure of Philo's captor, a sleeping nobleman awakened by their actions. Things turn tense as he noisily grabs his weapon, challenging Naofumi directly. The standoff looms painted with intensity, but with Philo back at Naofumi's side, he resolves to protect his friend and face whatever danger comes his way, ultimately echoing his deep-seated guardianship over those he considers dear. Kizuna, Raf-chan, and Naofumi find themselves caught up with a shady businessman who had captured Philo. Determined to rescue her, Naofumi takes charge. Anger fuels him, and he isn't holding back. Philo's been hurt, and the thirst for vengeance consumes Naofumi's mind. Raf-chan, help me out here, Naofumi commands. Raf-chan responds with a powerful spell, an illusion so intense that it sees right into the cowardly businessman's fears. Kizuna uses her night terror skill, amplifying the haunting sounds enveloping the room. The assault on the senses leaves the man incapacitated by terror. As the businessman's grip on sanity slips, the secrets begin pouring out uncontrollably. Encased in a magical prison, he trembles. Kizuna uses this to extract the information they need. Confirming their fears, the sleazy figures believed that by capturing Philo, they could breed with her to produce servant creatures, nothing more than tools for their own benefit. This isn't just, Kizuna says with resolve, her voice a lifeline pulling the room back to the present. With each word, the grip on the narrative tightens, closing in on their adversary's pathetic defiance. The man breaks eventually, spilling all he knows about his cruel actions under pressure from Naofumi and Kizuna. Relishing a sinister satisfaction, Raf-chan echoes their shared disbelief over what these people dared to scheme. For now, Philo is safe, but the impact of captivity lingers. She struggles to maintain her filial form, a haunting result of her ordeal. Techniques of the town's dark arts complicate her transformation abilities, rendering her temporarily into what's whimsically identified as that humming fairy status. Philo perpetually balances on the edge between innocence and raw power, adapting yet coping with the complexities tethering her identity. Relief swells upon reuniting, yet Philo's captor's proximity demands swiftness. Naofumi surveys the scene before teleporting them all away using his portal shield. Their sudden escape leaves them fleeting through the darkness, striving for safety with purpose. "Looks like our little cover worked perfectly," says Kizuna, admirably noting Naofumi's resourcefulness. The daylight reveals their escape as an impregnable success, etched quietly against the backdrop of an oblivious, yet ever-lenient landscape. The journey's pressure eases during pre-dawn air, conversation ebbing towards strategies and the delicate dynamics within their newfound company. Raphtalia remains out of sight, but not out of mind. Her fate heavily finds purpose in the measures they'll take next. As they resume their focus on Raphtalia, Kizuna lends more clarity into local myths and social structures, revealing deep-seated traditions of interpretation among demihumans of these lands. Gathering knowledge without insight turns disadvantage into ally, aiding Naofumi in understanding the strategic landscape of rescue ethos here, especially concerning the likes of Philo and Raphtalia. As Naofumi, Kizuna, and Philo integrate back into the ongoing quest, contemplations on expertise illuminate many strengths beyond those shielded immediately within battles. With this elder sister to traditions being open for sharing insights, Philo molds familiarity while adopting her new form with humility. Campfire tales at nightfall whisper tales of legends, the phoenix calligraphy, whispers, and fables conferring within this tale's journey. They temporarily escape the main adventure's intensity, downloading a shared past to connect and bind them further against lurking patriots. Philo showcases her novel abilities to fly, transforming into a new liberation unseen prior. Engaging plans churn speculation, possible ways they route towards Raphtalia emerge forceful and heartfelt, applications weaving guiding lights alert through shadows towering above their resolve. Stitching paths forever entwine, shaping unseen bridges connecting alliances. Language difficulties once daunted, but urgency has revolutionized comprehension within camp strategy dialogues. Characters stretch toward common ground, plotting with visionary caveats fused from cultural particulars merging straightforwardly into survivalist etiquette. Rishia, practicing under linguistics offering eager perseverance, learns far beyond speech, an acquired translation commitment extending cultural branches spanning history's enlightening grip. The offering graciously orients them, as knowledge threads into real aims, refocusing energies directly on Raphtalia's rescue with several lapsingly hunted foes close behind. Meanwhile, language soothes Naofumi's brood over loss, Gain deciding where, if at all possible, immortal courage burgeons rechanneling old emotional purposes, spiritually aligning expectations set on the liberation itinerary quest toward the beloved. With patience and purpose, they charge ahead for what comes next as the parade dance invigorates unity dressing conquered anxieties with defiant intention. The narrative lifts seamlessly, stories ongoing with undynamic immediacy anchored into the overall township's memory. They balance careful whispers instantly, echoing forgotten heroics beckoning viewers experiencing through Naofumi's kindred eyes of trusting truth, holding strong alongside righteous plains luxuriating final arcs accomplished. Rishia stands confidently, sharing with Kizuna her academic accomplishments from her world. Her studies in the same prestigious institution that Kizuna attended impress the former, sparking a bond between them. Rishia confides about her academic journey, explaining, aside from gym, they were pretty good. I worried so much I was never able to pick a major, though. Despite her indecisiveness, it's clear her potential was never in question. Kizuna, impressed by Rishia's resolve and intelligence, offers to help her. Will you teach me, too? I don't know if I'll be able to keep up, but I'll try. This determination spurs Kizuna into playful banter, sharing the commitment to growth and learning. Their conversation shifts to Rishia's promise to protect and grow stronger, kindling admiration from Naofumi and Kizuna alike. With shared aspirations, they reflect on Rishia's promising abilities and potential journey. Suddenly, an uproar catches their attention. A holder of a vassal weapon has surfaced, causing a stir. This development is significant, suggesting another hero has emerged, a rare occurrence that attracts government attention. It isn't just a weapon, it's the katana, known for its legendary significance across worlds. Naofumi ponders the rules regarding these sacred weapons. It perplexes him how such powerful items end up in unworthy hands. Old legends resurface about specific individuals destined to wield them. News of this katana wielder causes unease, recalling a dangerous event from the past, the memory of Amaki Ren and his chaotic actions. Everyone is on high alert, especially considering the mystery surrounding this new vassal hero. On edge, Naofumi and his allies venture into the town, their surroundings fraught with uncertainty. The atmosphere is tense as they speculate the connection to ongoing power struggles. Desiring stealth, Naofumi opts for rooftop transit, using his shield skills to access vantage points, silently guiding his companions along. Raphtalia, however, seems to vanish from his spell's radar, triggering panic. He fears the worst, a reflection of the grave stakes surrounding them. However, a sense of relief washes over him once it's confirmed that Raphtalia is merely undetectable due to her own burgeoning strength. It's a reassurance that their beloved team member is thriving. Raph-chan and Philo play pivotal roles, their keen senses and magical talents aiding Naofumi in perceiving and navigating threats in the town. Their bond is unspoken yet palpable, reflected in their playful interactions as Raphtalia's voice finally comforts Naofumi once more. Meanwhile, a crowd gathers, a confrontation reveals familiar faces, Lark and Glass, but with an unexpected ally, Raphtalia. Her transformation is drastic, donning a beautiful Miko costume with a newfound mastery over the katana. Naofumi's shock dissolves into joy, as old allies reunite amid brewing turmoil. Their brief reunion allows shared reflections, detailed disclosures concerning recent political upheavals and the strategic struggles tied to rescuing allies with the vassal weapons. Raphtalia relays that only through sheer circumstance and convincing trickery were they able to flee the capital. Conversations blend tactical planning and affectionate nostalgia, a respite before inevitably glancing back at renewed threats. Emphasis returns to transferring allies by leveraging return transcript, but such large numbers introduce risk and uncertainty. As scenario lines up for confrontation, tension simmers again. Raphtalia stands ready, her matured presence speaking volumes of newfound power, evident by the way she defends against hostile attempts at bestowing blame upon her for the turmoil blooming in royal domains. Why did the katana choose you? Questions hang. It's a moment of reflection, speculating destiny's hand in selecting champions. Yet, their gathered wisdom offers another advantage, collective strength over personal tribulation. Together, the wariness shared amongst Naofumi's squad forms a message of hope. Despite external chaos, a resurrected meaning defines their unity. As fate inches them closer to renewed battles, the promise upholds, they are not facing their forces alone. In conclusion, the drama plays amidst anticipation, the known challenges linger, pinning layers of warmth, humor, and tension that engage each individual moment, forming sensitive depictions over relations harbored closely and carefully against brewing dilemmas and triumphs equally shared. The scene unfolds with Naofumi and Raph-chan trying to discuss a shikigami, which turns out to have registered to Naofumi unexpectedly. As Raphtalia makes comments, she reveals past frustrations over Naofumi using the shield to clean up her hair, adding humor and a touch of nostalgia to the moment. Raph-chan's animated response distracts them momentarily, displaying her loyalty and eagerness to participate. Kizuna then diverts the conversation back to the pressing matter of their current threat. Naofumi learns about the white tiger beasts from Glass's world, powerful creatures that the group had previously defeated but that now appear in replica form. Kizuna confirms their difficulty, noting that though they've been overcome in the past, the challenge remains significant in their current weakened state. In a strategic discussion, Naofumi suggests that they best not leave the supposedly more dangerous tasks only to the strong, they all need to participate. Rishia, eager to help, prepares herself, despite feeling doubtful. Together they get ready to face their foes. As they engage the enemy, Naofumi communicates the need to eliminate the white tigers to allow for the use of his portal shield. Various members, including Trash Number 2, arm themselves for battle, each choosing their target. With a clear plan in place, the group tackles the tiger replicas head-on. In action, Naofumi witnesses an intense exchange. Glass skillfully counters a charging tiger with her fan, expert movements reflecting her power as she instructs others on their faulty form. Rishia contributes, her weapon striking with modest yet increasing confidence, while Lark supports Glass with daring air maneuvers that dazzle in the face of the tiger's fury. Throughout, Trash Number 2 shows surprising capability, casting spells without incantation. His empowerment shocks others, as casting complex spells visibly enhances the battle. He takes charge in deflecting attacks with ease and engaging cooperatively with Glass. Naofumi, recognizing their teamwork's effectiveness, sees opportunities to utilize his shield techniques against the formidable beasts. As intensity rises, Naofumi capitalizes on combined efforts, facilitating mesmerizing counter-tactics within the group dynamic. Raphtalia aptly uses the blessing acquired from Kizuna, exhibiting a skilled throw that incapacitates the tigers, highlighting her growing aptitude. The alliance of skills and strategy among Naofumi's companions seems overwhelmingly synergistic. Amidst this unfolding chaos, Naofumi ruminates on Trash Number 2's unique skills and unassuming agility. His observation offers a glimpse into the internal battle's character's face, the striving for competence amidst adversity. The climactic moment arrives with the arrival of another, larger white tiger, seemingly the leader. Kizuna ponders its presence, suspecting it follows Naofumi's scent, but ultimately, its imposing stature signals a formidable opponent. In a coordinated assault, Kizuna commands the culmination of talent between Glass and Lark with rapid execution. Crafting blooming chakra and wind techniques, they inflict fluid yet devastating attacks. Together, they employ Kizuna's phantasm skill, leading to a crescendo of strategic mastery that culminates in a unified final stand. As the battle reaches resolution, astonishment rests in the aftermath. Naofumi's palpable leadership breathes life into the cohesion of allied forces. Overcoming their foes in dependable union impresses upon the field of battle, leaving the remnants of victory stark upon the landscape. Herein lies a tale of strategy interwoven with companionship. The bonds forged within Naofumi's group deliver perseverance and triumph against odds set to overwhelm. Glass, Lark, Trash Number 2, and the entire ensemble stand in solidarity, an unspoken testament to fortitude in action. As the story continues, Kizuna questions Naofumi about his knowledge of the hunting hero. Naofumi acknowledges Kizuna's unique ability to gain combat experience from fishing, which deviates from other heroes who gain power through combat. Kizuna admits her inability to attack people is frustrating, but as she remarks, if you don't learn to separate rumors from fact, you'll end up dead. The tense conversation is disrupted by the return of their reinforcements. Naofumi reflects on his past struggles facing animal-type monsters like tigers, noting how everyone had their own special challenges. Kizuna's expertise with fishing, while unconventional, proved essential against certain monsters. As tension lingers, Naofumi grins, grateful for Raphtalia's successful battle prowess. Raphtalia feels modest about her accomplishments, prompting Naofumi to commend her publicly, considering she fights alongside Trash Number 2, another character whose real name is not acknowledged by Naofumi. Shifting gears, Naofumi contemplates Raphtalia and her impressive growth in combat. He admonishes her for thinking he might be underestimating her again. Laughingly, she accuses him of thinking rude thoughts, playfully alluding to past habits. Then, they consider their options regarding the white tiger parts and the challenging circumstances presented by such a valuable component. As they finish discussing tactics and strategies, Raphtalia fears how another world could summon heroes like them in the future, echoing past worries about being easily manipulated into conflicts. The feeling of being entrapped and cornered by unseen manipulators lingers, barely dismissing thoughts about their interrealm situation. Naofumi turns serious when confronting enemies, employing tactics with a calculated calm, reprimanding them with harsh but necessary actions. Remarks said lightly about returning their reality belongings sound intensified under present stress. However, Raphtalia makes sure to signal Naofumi for his grades and efforts within joking battle chatter. In a revealing and pivotal interaction, Kizuna discusses their shared situations. Naofumi appreciates Kizuna, noting her equal stature in their team hierarchy. Evaluating joined battles across limited groups, the scope of individual responsibility shifts as collective allies join. They journey to the foundational story location with Kizuna's nation, uncovering an allied support structure drawn from compounded anticipation shared amidst growing conflicts. Naofumi's reflective consideration captures multiple realms, enhancing retelling of emotionally driven insights, ones anticipated but exceeding their known deliverance in exiled battle setups. Finally, Glass meets up with Naofumi, Kizuna, and allies, establishing connections. Within this multidimensional digital interplay, complex character interactions sow narrative currents that continually widen. They hold series spirit enlivened swaths together, resting in battle's shared swell and released acuity surrounding dramatic arcs hinged on inherently illuminating their epic tale right moments ahead, unscrolling adventure offers. Naofumi offers to make use of the equipment he received, intending to create something valuable by trying a little at a time. Although he doesn't have much yet since they can't use all the equipment immediately, he's confident. Naofumi plans to enhance everyone's gear and make adjustments slowly. He feels the improvements not only benefit his friends but also grant him personal satisfaction. The idea of using familiar and local resources from this world excites Naofumi, as it could reveal new crafting opportunities. He's hopeful that, if I can make something useful, it would probably raise our chances in the next battle. He plans to use weapon copy to efficiently manage his arsenal, either selling or distributing them to his team. His resolve strengthens as he decides to start working with what I can, then I can work on other stuff when this is all done. He agrees with his companions to split the tasks, focusing initially on crafting, then tackling larger objectives like punishing Kyo. Meanwhile, the group stands outside after leaving the shop, their equipment safely entrusted to Ramina. As daylight dims, the sky bursts into life with fireworks above the castle, casting colorful reflections on the town below. The whole town is in a festive mood, celebrating Naofumi and the return of their ally, Kizuna. Glass expresses heartfelt gratitude to Naofumi. Thank you so very much for helping our missing Kizuna. We will do all that we can to assist you, but for now, please enjoy the celebration. Her words encourage Naofumi to unwind, recognizing it's important to enjoy brief reprieves. Naofumi decides it's time to embrace the moment. He turns to Raphtalia, Philo, Rafchan, Rishia, saying, "All right then, let's take the night off." Their enthusiasm lights up their faces, and they eagerly agree to enjoy the festive atmosphere. Raphtalia, Philo, and Rishia dart around excitedly, capturing the brightness of the fireworks and joining in on local cheers of joy. Naofumi, despite harboring unfinished business related to Kyo's punishment, acknowledges the necessity of rest, savoring this pause before his larger battles continue. His heart lightens with each transient moment of normalcy shared alongside his cherished companions amidst the vibrant street festival.